What's going on? It's Coach Williams, and I'm back for another breakdown. So, after a wild divisional round, we are going to break down the matchups for the AFC and NFC Championship game. So, we're going to start off with the AFC Championship game here. And the beautiful thing about this weekend is we've already seen these games play out early on in the season. These are all rematches. So, I'm going to do what I used to do in the summer and in the offseason and stuff. We're going to break this down, but we're also going to toggle back and forth between virtual reality so that you guys can see it from the perspective of the players. So we already saw this matchup in week 17. It was a big game for both teams. You know, Chiefs were trying to get the number one seed. Bengals were trying to win their division. And it ended up being a game that was won by the Bengals. But the Chiefs really controlled this game. They got out to a 14-0 lead. But the things that killed the Chiefs were their coverage in the back end. So many coverage busts, right? I think that their front is really good. I think that their secondary has got some holes in it. They've got some decent players, but they're not very sound. And we talked about this in the video with the Bills when we previewed that matchup. If you watch that game closely last weekend in the divisional round, yeah, the quarterbacks were amazing. Yes, there were amazing throws that were made, but there were so many coverage busts. There were so many times where guys were out of position, and Mahomes and Allen took full advantage of it. The other thing about this game was that the Bengals in the second half did a phenomenal job of controlling the football, right? They did not let Patrick Mahomes get the ball back. I think they held the ball for 8 minutes at the end of the game. That's insane. That's crazy, right? To have an 8-minute drive to close the game out. You know, when those things happen, it's hard to win football games, right? So we're going to break down this play right here. And this is going to show us how I think that the Bengals, even though I think the Chiefs are going to probably win, I think the Bengals got a shot. Because Chiefs secondary, I don't know what they're doing back there sometimes. So, all right. So the Bengals came out in 11 personnel on this play, right? So you got one back, one tight end, 3 wide receivers. Okay. So the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are in cover 4 palms on this play. And so I call it cover 4 palms. I know some people like to call it 2 read or two palms or whatever you want to call it. Like, don't be that guy, right? We all know what we're looking at. We all know what we're talking about. You know, just go with the flow, okay? So, all right. So they're in cover 4 palms here. And the way that the coverage works is the safety and the corner are both reading number 2, okay? If number 2 goes out, the corner is going to rob him, and the safety is going to have to get over the top of the number 1 receiver, okay? So that's the way that the coverage works. When you're this safety right here, you got to know who this receiver is. If this receiver is a dog, which this is a dog, this is Ja'Marr Chase right here, you got to know, you got to get on your horse and put yourself in a position where you know you can get over the top if you have to, okay? So the first thing, it's playing safety in this defense. It's just like playing outfield in baseball. Your first step has got to be back, right? Can't have any false steps. Your first step has got to be back and to the sideline. And what does Sorensen do on this play? He hops up. His first step is hopping up. So he's already putting himself out of position, okay? The next thing that's important is you want to keep your hips and shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. You don't want to turn like this, right? Because if you have to get out here, now you're either going to have to speed turn or you're going to have to flip your hips this way. It's all kinds of stuff that's going to happen. You look at this safety down here. Look at him. Hips, shoulders, square to the line of scrimmage. He's got a full, 4 yards deeper, 4 or 5 yards deeper than he is because he's taking better steps, better angles. He's being more sound in his technique. And I don't know what Sorensen is doing over here, okay? So we can see this number 2 receiver. He goes out. Corner goes to Rob. Now, look at the angle, okay? So let's take a step back here, right? Let's look at when Joe Burrow throws the ball. Okay, when Burrow throws the ball, look at the angle Sorensen is moving at. Look at his angle. He's breaking downhill like he's breaking on a slant or something. Like, I don't know what he's doing right here. Your angle's got to be up into the sideline, over the top of the freakiest wide receiver in football after Tyreek Hill. Like, this dude is a freak of nature. Like, you cannot break downhill like this, right? So he breaks downhill, good night. touchdown. One of the most electrifying players in football, and you're not playing your technique right against him, right? So, all right. The other thing we're going to look at here, even though this is not QB school, right? This is one thing that I noticed on this play, so I wanted to talk about it, okay? Now, let's look at Burrow's eyes. So Burrow's eyes start over here, okay? So we can see, look at his eyes. They start looking this way. And then he comes back to it, and he makes a throw. So now either one of two things are happening here, and quarterbacks can tell you whether or not I'm right on this, but it's either that he's just looking off the safety. He knows he's going to go over here, so he's trying to hold Sorensen, and then he's going to throw the ball out here. Or it's that the progression, if we go back and we see the full field, right? The progression is a zone man progression. So this would be the man side, and this would be the zone side. So over here, we get two in-breaking routes, right? So that would be a man beater, but it's not man-to-man coverage. It's zone. So his eyes, he realizes right off the bat that it's zone. So he goes back to the other side. So why that's impressive to me is like, look at how fast Burrow does this. Up, boom, ball's out, right? Look at how quick that was. Let's watch it again. Okay. Up, it's zone, bang. That to me is what makes Joe Burrow elite. Joe Burrow does not have some crazy rocket laser arm. He's athletic, but he's not more athletic than, some of the really athletic quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, he's not on that level. To me, what makes Joe Burrow an elite quarterback is he processes the information so quickly and gets the ball to exactly who he's supposed to be on each play. So great job by Joe Burrow right there, getting the ball out, making a big play, connecting with his old college teammate, Ja'Marr Chase. So, to me, the key to this game is, can these guys up here, right here, block the Kansas City front? Can they do it? So, let's watch this play right here. So, they're in, again, 11 personnel, right? So, we got one back, one tight end, right? I would call this tray formation, bunch tray, right? So, they're in the bunch with the tight end. Right? I think that this is cover 2. I think this is Tampa 2 here, right? And Burrow's just got no time, right? No time. So I think the answer to that is, can they block these guys? No. No, they cannot, right? So this angle here, we'll see they end up sliding the protection to Chris Jones. I think that's pretty smart, right? You want to slide the protection that way. But even so, they get the double team, right? Double team on him, and they can't block him, right? They cannot block him. Jerron Reed gets in there and cleans the play up. So to me, if you ask the question, can they block these guys? The answer is no. They cannot block the Kansas City Chiefs. But if you know and you've read The Art of War, the great general Sun Tzu said, never go to war when the ground is muddy. And I think that the Bengals should not go to war, because in this game, the ground is going to be muddy. What do I mean by that? Instead of trying to spend time this week on how you're going to protect and how you're going to block these guys and how you're going to block Chris Jones and all that stuff, I say, don't even block them. Don't try to block them, because you're not going to be able to do it. This is what I think that they should do. Come out and empty. Come out in empty formation, 5-man protection, get 5 guys out in the route, and get the ball out quickly. So that's what they do here. The Chiefs are in man-to-man coverage, right? They're manned up on these guys. You got Hitchens here, this linebacker inside. He's covering this number 3 receiver because they want to try to, disguise things and simulate pressure and stuff. Well, that gives you a wide open wide receiver on second down, and you get what? 7 yards on second down, right? I think that's what they need to do. They need to go empty, get the ball out of Burrow's hands quickly, and don't even try to block these guys. Look at how quickly they win off the line of scrimmage, right? And we can see it off the type. There's just no way that this Bengals front is going to be able to block them. So who cares? Get the ball out quickly. That's the only way you're going to keep Joe Burrow clean. I think they need to get 5 guys out there. If he's got more dudes that he can be able to throw the ball to, and they got more guys that they're going to need to cover, the Chiefs, I think that's a better situation than trying to rely on this offensive line to be able to block for you. So we saw that. Well, that's exactly what happened in the divisional round, right? We know Burrow got sacked 9 times in this game, right? So we got the Titans here. They got 7 guys up on the line of scrimmage. They've got these 4 guys back here in coverage, right? And what they're going to do is they're just going to go all out pressure, man-to-man coverage, one-on-ones across the board. And what do? They come out and empty, and they say, all right, y'all want to do that? We're going to give the ball right here to Ja'Marr Chase, electrifying, one of the most electrifying players in the NFL. And now you got to tackle him one-on-one in space. Ain't going to happen. Sorry. Bye-bye. Now, they don't score a touchdown on this play, but I think they got a better chance of making plays and putting themselves in a position to win this game by just getting the ball to their playmakers quickly instead of trying to figure out ways that they can block a front with Frank Clark, Jerron Reed, and the monster, Chris Jones. There's no way that they're going to be able to block those guys, right? So I say go empty, get the ball out quickly, get it to the playmakers, keep Joe Burrow clean, and go from there. And then over the beauty of doing that is over the course of the game, you can just slow the pass rush down. As a defensive lineman, anyone that's a defensive lineman, if you're watching this video, you know how hard it is when you come into the game, you're all jacked up, you want to get that pass rush, you know that offensive line is a bunch of turnstiles, so you think you're going to get a bunch of sacks today. Well, if right off the bat, the ball is coming out immediately 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a row, that gets in your head mentally. So you're not firing off the ball as quickly as you were early on in the game. So that's the way that I think that they can protect Burrow, get the ball out quickly, go empty, get the ball to the playmakers. So that's the video for today. Hopefully I'll have some time to break down the NFC Championship game before that game starts, before the weekend starts, right? So you guys can get an opportunity to see that. But as always, you know how it is. It's Coach Williams, Ball Hawks, we fly. I'm out. Peace.